Welcome in, everybody. It's another episode of the DNVR Rapids podcast, and it's a winner's lounge, baby.
Oh, beautiful. Let's go.
Let's
That
go.
Incredible.
I'm your host, Mitchell Carroll, and in with me, just an absolutely special guest, the man, the myth, the legend. You've seen him here with us on World Cup watch-alongs and on various DNVR Rapids appearances. It's the GM of DNVR Sports, Andre Simone.
My guy, how are you doing? We might have to do more of these because I am fully pid-spilled after that one. What a performance. The young Pid. I mean, shit, that was everything we've asked for the last 2 years. Like, let the kids play, let's play aggressive the way they were in that great season where they were the 1 seed just 2 years ago. And they're that and so much better. And I mean, Bombi's. I'm ready to make insane Bombi comps. So I'm sorry, I'm already going off the rails, but that was spectacular. That was special. That was quite the dub on the road.
There is so many ways to go with this, but I mean, obviously, let's work our way through the game real quick. Rapids come out pretty strong first, right? Like, they were on the front foot for probably the first 5-6 minutes. They settled into a nice rhythm. They were able to get through that NYC backline quite a bit early to those spots right near the bottom corner of the box for crosses. Then it flipped for about 10 minutes, maybe a little longer. NYC was the one. Now, they weren't getting any shots off. That was the biggest difference, and that's going to be true across the whole game, was they had a bunch of dangerous chances, but they weren't actually even getting shots on goal, let alone shots on target. But then 18th minute, what a sequence this was. Kevin Cabraal lays it off for Cole Bassett. Huge cross over the whole line. Everybody. Rafa standing by himself. One touch. Right foot curler into the top of the netting. Absolute banger. Best play we've seen from him, period.
Yeah. And that's how many on the year now?
That's 5.
5.
It's a lot. You
wouldn't have thought. If you were just on PID's Twitter, you wouldn't think that's 5. I'll take you back even further. It's a messy little clearance sequence. Bombi steps in like the older brother on the pitch, just like enough with this child's play. 2 touches to settle it down, and then puts it right into space to kick off that whole counter. And Kevin handled it really nicely. How many games has Kevin had that were this good?
1 or 2, maybe. I mean, besides that Galaxy game. Yeah.
Mature, like, put together. And that plays a great example of that. He takes up the space, he accelerates, then he cuts inside, lets Cole come in with the overlap, and Cole with such a nice, soft cross. And that's one where I'm already saying, like, Rafa, please make this pass, like, not too messy. And he was like, no, screw you. I'm going to do what I need to do. Bang, bang.
I mean, how often is a striker going to have that much time in a box in the MLS like that? I mean, he settled the ball, took a look, took a step, and just, I mean, absolute worldy. Yeah. That wasn't like curl it around. That was put it in the top bin. Like, no one's touching that. No keeper in the world is touching that shot. Yeah. Great shot.
Yeah. Me and the 6-year-old are going like bing bong style crazy in the living room after that one. Because what a banger. And then right after that, Yappy has another. I mean, Yappy is right there. What a move. And I really the structure of the 4-4-2 early was really working nicely.
He man, that left foot. I thought it was like, okay, we're gonna get a huge right foot curler, then we're gonna get a nice little left footer. Yappy had a couple moments tonight where it was the goal was close. For sure.
Well, then
It's
right
coming.
after there's the sequence we don't see on camera where I don't know what happened, but
Yeah, I have no idea still what happened.
shot on goal.
I have no idea.
The bullshit offsides. Like,
oh my god! Okay, let's go to that.
There's
let's
a
go to that.
20-minute sequence there where the Pids are just like taking it to them. They have so much more structure. They're creating all the dangerous opportunities, and NYCFC is so lucky to get out of that 20-minute stretch just down one.
Keegan, we thought we had our annual Keegan rocket. I mean, come on.
What a beaut. What a beaut.
I don't think Cabraal was off. I mean, they only showed the one angle, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it enough to say that wasn't a goal.
I paused it, and I mean, obviously, I'm always going to have burgundy-colored glasses, and when I'm seeing a play but like to me, gun to my head, I'd say he's on more than he's off on that like game of inches, and they gotta show it to us with the line. Like that was just disgusting, and when it's a worldly like that, I mean, come on.
I'm wearing my Keegan kit. You can't see it because I don't want to turn around right now, but I was bringing the Keegan juice today. I needed
that
it.
Was beastly. No, and I thought, speaking of Keegan, the right side defensively, and credit to Kevin on this as well, was
I mean,
like lockdown, man. Lockdown. The left side a little more leaky, but
but like I mean, not just Kevin, Omir too. Omir was tracking back. He put in some miles today. He he didn't. Again, these wingers besides Calvin with the assist, but it feels like these wingers refuse to cement a starting spot. Like no one wants to get on the score sheet, score a goal, have like some crazy assist. No one wants to do that, but they're all working really hard in defense. They're tracking. They're finding these runs too. A couple of things from that first half that I noticed. Moise, we're going to go on and on about Moise in this show. So,
as we should.
Just be ready for that. Yeah. But a couple times he attempted the over the top curling cross it was Sam on one side and it was the right wing on the other. No one was there, so I wasn't exactly sure who it was to. But if Moise can add that complete level breaking to a winger or to Sam or to Keegan on the run on the outside, if he adds that to his arsenal, it's over. Like send him to the Bundesliga for 20 mil right now. Like
he's already doing a lot of that stuff, that is where he shows the glimpses, but he can't be consistent. But I mean, and we might as well go to the next section of the game, which I thought the final 10 minutes of the first half was the only time that the Pids were really on the back foot. And NYCFC was really able to create some dangerous opportunities. And Moise, more than anyone, was the reason they didn't bring one home, including that phenomenal sliding tackle that he celebrated like a goal.
He did. He went crazy.
Phenomenal. Dude, he did. Rightfully so. Him and Maxu were just excellent in getting those little touches to dirty up anything in the final third. Really good in the aerial battles. And I mean, if you think about it, as dangerous as that stretch felt, I don't think Steffen had to make a save the entire game, man.
Nothing hard. It was catching practice.
Yeah.
I mean, it was routine, right?
There's one where he's covering like the right side of the goal and it hits the side of the net. And for a second, so like he was there to make the tough save if it was on target. But
I mean, we've seen 3 or 4, like, elite level, like you see why City bought this guy, saves from, this season, just athletic, full stretch, 6 feet in the air. And he didn't need to today because Moise and Maxu are a freaking wall back there. They're just unstoppable.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, what are we, 11 games into the season? How Chris Armas has this team just tactically connected. That there really wasn't a stretch of the game where it's like, oh man, they're stretched too wide or what have you. They were just together. I thought Ollie and Cole took a bit of a step off in the second half.
Yeah,
where they were really bossing the midfield in the first half, and that was a big part of the Pids kind of feeling like really having a leg up the first 35. But after that, I just thought so well coached, so connected.
Well, and on the other side, and I mean, this has been true all season almost. It's kind of weird because it's a little bit of the inverse, but the Rapids press has just been shutting down the star guys. right? And like I first noticed it in the Salt Lake game when you just saw Luna and Chicho just kind of disappear for the last 20 minutes. In this one, Santi was getting the ball and making things happen, right? He was getting in a space where he could find the pass into the box, cut back through the defenders, and no one was helping him. I mean, there was no one there. It was almost a shift in terms of, okay, like Santi's going to be on it. How do we not give him the chance to beat us with a pass, right? And there was nothing. I mean, he had nothing, like nothing. All night. He looked pissed.
Oh, he looked pissed. He was trying to muck it up, and they weren't. The Pids weren't having it. And yeah, he could maybe initiate play and kind of get back, but then in the final third, he just had zero to play with. And I think Ollie's a big credit to that as well. And it's not just the two center backs who are really extraordinary there. But I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Second half, you kind of control the rhythm a little more, but
yeah. So second half, second half, we saw, man, you saw NYC, whatever adjustment they made or whatever they were looking to see in that first 10 minutes, they either someone wasn't doing their job right or they saw something they didn't want to, whatever it was, but 10 minutes in, they make a double switch. Not even.
The subs finally
8 minutes in, they make a double switch.
Minute. That's exactly right.
And
that helped them. The youth
big time.
And like extra pace really helped them.
Big time. The Tavon Gray. I want to watch more Tavon Gray.
Yeah, 100%.
And Malachi Jones. Both of them. Those guys, they were nice.
Right. And I mean, their best chance comes down to a Malachi Jones header.
Oh,
that I
duffed it.
I thought was in, but luckily is well wide of the post. But yeah, the two young guys gave them a little more pace, a little more ability to counterattack. And I thought the Pids they held tough, but weren't playing their best soccer until they finally made their own change. Yeah.
Another Armas game where you can tell he was kind of taking his time on subs. I've noticed that he's very patient. He's so patient with this lineup. Where that Miami game, all the starters played 85 minutes together, right? This time it's 70. And like, why panic? It's working. Yeah,
it's working. You have no cards. I mean, for a rainy kind of, you'd expect it to be. First off, congrats to the pitch. The pitch was fantastic. Obviously it's Shea and there's the dirt, and that pisses me off.
Yeah.
But a bunch of dirt bags. This was a great dirt bag win. But the field was in great conditions, and it was a very unsloppy game for both teams. So, yeah, you don't really have to, but he trusts his guys, man. I mean, the fact that he leaves guys like Ollie and Cole and Rafa out there the whole 90 minutes for as hard as those guys are working speaks volumes to the trust he has in them. Mm-hmm. The whole back line, I mean, he really trusts his guys, and he's going to ride them, no problem.
And I don't know how long that's gonna last, right? Like, I don't think it's gonna be, like
the calendar will complicate that,
but the fact that those guys are able to see all situations of this game together, right? Like, as the intensity ratchets up, that first hour is gonna be comfortable, right? And if it's with your guys that you're always playing with, those same 10 outfield guys, you might not get those reps together, right? And game flow will dictate who gets subbed out, who gets subbed in. But the fact that you have the chance to make connections with everyone on the field like that so often it's just gonna pay dividends down the line. I thought it was a brilliant game plan from him today, and trusting them to keep it going when it would be really easy to just throw Lamine and Jasper as a double sub in together at the hour mark, bring on Lawless, shell up, and he trusted his system and it worked.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I also think you can see it in how the front four is playing. I mean, they're really interchangeable. They play well together. They find each other. They track back, as you were saying earlier on the pod. The front four plays really well together, and I like that he stuck with them a little longer. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you this. In the second half, so it's a 4-4-2 that also works as a 4-2-3-1 where Yappy or Rafa are kind of interchangeable as that 10 with Georgie out.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, not having Georgie in this game makes the big road win that much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I think while Rafa definitely plays better as the 10 between him and Yappy when he comes back and stuff, I think the team played better when Yappy was more the second forward and Rafa was playing up a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rafa played really well. I mean, the goal is obviously great, but he's such a complete game. He's tracking back. He's playing as that 10. Then he goes back to being the 9 when it's more of a 4-3-3 with Jasper in.
We caught Coach after practice on Friday after the big open practice. And he kind of told the crowd, like, hey, like, you want to see who's starting this week, pay attention to set pieces. So, we were able to talk to him and see, what his thoughts were with the formation. Were we going to go 4-2-2-2? Is it going to be like a 4-4-2? And really, in offense, they allowed Ollie to kind of, sort of center as the 6, Cole to slide up, almost like a 4-1-3-2. But at times it was almost like a 4-1-1-4 because you saw all those guys hugging the line. Once Sam or Keegan got the ball, those 4 were like, send it over the top. I got the line. And, it made me nervous with all the space in the midfield, but it worked, right? It worked having Omir and Kevin with a little runway where normally they're both always hugging the line and pushing to find a gap and run, but giving them the ball in space with targets in front, I thought was brilliant. I mean, I've wanted to watch Kevin play back from the line so you can use that speed to run towards it. Right. And for some reason, no coach has pulled it back just a little bit, just pull back a little bit.
No, and he tracked back nicely too. And then on the left side, Omir's there, but the dynamic with Omir and Sammy is intriguing because Omir will kind of cut back inside. He can almost become a helper on the center midfield. And Sammy was really pushing up on that left flank, especially in that first 30 minutes where the kids were so dangerous. So that's another little variation that they can throw your way. So
pretty much from the subs at 55 to the 86. Now the Pits had their chances. They had some, Yappy was pushing. Calvin came on and was
a good shot.
Yeah. Calvin was pushing the second he came in. But really it was one-way traffic. And
also Kevin has that nice chance, one-timer that's just like barely out.
Yes. Now coach wants to keep the front line and back line 20 yards apart, right? That's how he always wants to play. He wants it super compact, networks together, be able to find each other with the ball. So inevitably when you're, hanging on to a lead and that back line's dropping, you're just hoping that Kevin's speed can, you can catch a cross before he's over. The half line has to worry about offside, whatever. They're super compact, way back. One-way traffic, ceding possession, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter that they gave possession to NYC that whole second half because the second the ball came anywhere near the box, Bombi or Keegan or Maxu were clearing it without a thought. I mean, how many defensive headers did Maxu have in the box that second half? 5? Something like that? 6? Like, he was unreal. Yeah. Unreal. He is on such a hot streak that is completely overshadowed by this wonder kid Canadian Moise. It's like these two are so dynamic together. Their games are like perfectly allow one to play up. One is the anchor. One's the it's like thunder, lightning. Like,
I mean, it's just like I think back to that season 2 years ago, and that's where this squad is undoubtedly way better. Like I like those center backs, but I mean, Bombi in comparison to Trusty is just another level. And what Maxu brings you is like Lalas 10x, I mean,
Yeah. So despite all those chances, clearance after clearance, break after break, they finally get a big one with Cole all the way up to Calvin. Almost an identical play to what Cole hit the cross to Rafa on, where it's right up there at the corner, edge of the box. Calvin lays it off for Cole, and instead of a cross, one times it, far post, night. See you later. 86th minute, ball game.
Calvin had done a really good job of pushing up that whole stretch. He really kind of brought it while I think Rafa was pretty tired. Cole finds his second legs in kind of those final 20 minutes.
Always.
He really started bossing the midfield, and they kind of had a misconnect on a counterattack right before then, where Cole like fakes like he's gonna go in and then steps back, and Calvin just like does the through ball too long, and it just goes out of bounds. So in this one, you could see Calvin was thinking about that, drops it off to Cole, and Cole with the one time, just
beautiful,
so beautiful. And I mean, I think they created at least 4 or 5 chances that were quite dangerous like that, where they got a really nice shot.
And then Lamine subs on, Kamani subs on, and they just hold out and win. I mean, only 3 minutes of extra time. They had possession most of that extra. They didn't just shell up. They pretty much just got the ball, would kind of fake a break. NYC would all run past them, and they'd just kind of hang out near the midline with the ball, pass it around, ice it out, get a big dub, get a huge dub.
Massive. And tonight we're all Sounders fans, right? Because
that's right.
That puts you in 4th place quite nicely.
Oh yeah. We're gonna dig into some game grades, talk about some big storylines to take away. But first, I mean, you know who we're gonna talk about? It's the homies at Toyota, baby. We love Toyota. We are Toyota people here at DNVR, and your Front Range Toyota stores are very excited to start this partnership. They are the official vehicle of DNVR. You a truck guy, Andre?
More of an SUV guy.
SUV guy.
Truck adjacent.
It is. It's pretty close.
That's right.
Look, Toyota trucks. I mean, what can we say that hasn't already been said on this podcast about Toyota trucks? They have been part of Toyota's DNA for generations. They've built durable legends destined for greatness, and they are perfect for Colorado, whether you're conquering off-road trails or hauling a bunch of team gear out to New York to get a huge dub. There's a Toyota truck that's just right for you, like the all-new 2024 Tacoma, the return of the iconic 2024 Land Cruiser coming this spring. Toyota offers 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like the Epic 4Runner. There's also more low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. I mean, go green, get a Toyota. Pretty easy, right? There are 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, like the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. Toyota SUVs take command on the road and the trail, so you can explore the road less traveled without sacrificing smooth city rides in SUVs. Like RAV4 and Grand Highlander. I am a proud Highlander man myself. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. Auto Nation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Colorado Rapids and the official vehicle of DNVR.
Nice. What's he going to say? I don't even know.
Took me a second. There's this part of the ad read that's like, read here and then read back, and it throws me off every time, but I'm a professional. All right, we're back. DNVR Rapids, Winners Lounge. Yes. Mitch, Andre, downtown Dwayne Brown's hanging out on the ones and twos back there somewhere. Downtown. Just a little, yah with the off day. Shout out to our guy. I'm sure he is thoroughly enjoying this dub. He'll only watch it 8 times or something like that. Okay, Dre, we play a little game here on these post-game shows.
What a game.
We talk about, well, one, if you already saw in the chat, don't say it, but who was the highest graded Rapid? We use Fought Mob's game grades, but we sort of just talk about who do they think was the star of this game.
Yeah.
If you had to take a guess, who would it be?
I'm going to say Cole because he got the goal. So give me
easy
Cole Bassett.
Easy Cole Bassett. Very easy Cole Bassett, man. 8-9. Played all 90.
Yeah.
1 goal.
Yep. An assist.
Yeah. Beautiful game. He was 31 to 38 on passes, 2 chances created. 60 touches tonight for Cole. 60.
Oh, he was outstanding, man. He is incredible. When I watch Cole today, I really think, like, had he been playing this role, he sticks in Europe for sure.
Yes.
And this version of this kid is a real deal player in world football who's going to factor into the national team's decisions, who's going to be a big deal in the MLS or abroad, wherever his future holds. But
I mean, I think he's a lock start for the Olympics this summer. Lock.
This is a different Cole Bassett. Yeah, and I mean, once you get into the U23 stuff, the other thing I was thinking is him and Moise are like easily, like if we were to do a top 25 under 25 list, easily make that list.
Oh yeah,
right now.
I mean, and are high up the list. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Cole 3 touches in the box, 5 passes in the final third. Was 50% on his tackles, 1 block, 1 clearance, 1 headed clearance, 7 recoveries.
Yeah, big
8 of 12 in ground duels. He was all over the place tonight, man.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
All over the place. Rafa with the goal, obviously, too. He finished with an 8-3. Here's what you love to see. Everybody in green. Everybody in green.
How beautiful.
Everybody had a good game.
What's Bombi getting?
Bombi, now this is great. A 7-7, right? But if you have no XG, no XA, right? You're not relying on any of that to boost the game grade, right? So 90 minutes played, 31 of 39 on passes, 52 touches, 2 touches in the opposition box, which were those 2 headers, 2 dangerous headers put right into the feet, right into the mixer. And they're just unlucky that there wasn't a rapid on the other end of them. He could have added an assist on those real easy on 1 corner. Had 2 chances there, 5 clearances, 1 block, 2 headed clearances, 2 interceptions, 9 recoveries, 3 ground duels won.
He's a beast. He's reaching Alphonso Davies levels. Like, I really think he could go to a top club and whenever. Like, he's
amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, those 2 really are the story, right? Moise is just everywhere. There was even a moment where I think he was off of a rapid set piece, and it was for NYC up the right side. It was Ilinich, or I don't know who it was, but they were on a break, and the Apple announcer even said something like, "Oh, and here's something nice for NYCFC." And within a second of that sentence finishing, Bombi had completely chased him down and shut it down completely. Mm-hmm. And just absolutely ended it.
Yeah. He frustrated Santi Rodriguez. I mean, he was just all over. And I repeat, it's his clearance that starts that action on the goal, that starts the counterattack. Like, he's totally easily the one who's most confident with it. And he's, as the right center back, he's having to play on the dirt at Shea Field the entire game too. No problem whatsoever. Didn't lose his footing. Didn't mishandle the ball. He was fantastic, man. He's so good in that role. And I mean, Porig making that pick in the draft is massive.
I mean, that's the trade. That's the Mac trade, right? That was, you had a terrible year, but you also had, not a terrible year, right? Out of the playoffs in 22 with 2 or 3 games left, right? Not great. So your own pick isn't great. I mean, it's good, not great. Mm-hmm. But then you trade Mac away, and Toronto just absolutely crumbles and hands you Moise Bombito, right? Hands you this Canadian wonder kid, right? I mean, that's like, what player would fit better for Toronto to be able to push than Moise Bombito, right? Like, they thought it would be Mac, and it was Moise this whole time, right? And the thing with Moise that you can't, and this is why I think people weren't ready until these last few games to kind of think Colorado's legit, is because even with Steffen, Vines, Georgie, you're still like, okay, right? Like, all right, like, those are nice. You don't factor in Moise becoming like a easy top 10 center back in the league. Like, if not top 5, I mean, how many are you going to take over him as a prospect? None, right? 0.
Right.
It's so, I mean, that is such a crazy factor in forecasting where this team goes the rest of the season.
It's that and the center midfield.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Ollie, you don't know Ollie's coming.
That's right. Ollie being at this level is a complete game changer. And say what you will, but if we're talking about the spine, I think the center forward position, while the goals have come inconsistently, has given a lot to the overall structure of this squad.
Well, look, Rafa's at 5 goals.
Yeah.
Only 1 assist, but, I mean, 6 goal contributions in 11 games. I mean, that's, you probably hope you're not paying DP money for that, but you're not, I don't know. That's good. Like, you'll take that after the production you've gotten out of DPs in the past, you'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, after production you've gotten out of your strikers in the past, I think you'll take that. I mean, maybe we got spoiled with a year of Zardes and Rubio, and we forget how hard it was to come by a 5-goal season from your striker. Some years, like that wasn't happening.
I mean, he's on pace for what, like 14 goals or something like that. Like that would be one of the highest in Rapids history. Yeah.
That actually sounds phenomenal. And then I think that wing depth, right? Like we can draft nerds like us can get hyped up about, Calvin and
Kamani,
Maryland kid,
Kamani Stewart Baines, brother.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously Omir, there was some excitement with, but it was all like, and Kevin's, Kevin, like the potential's there, but who's Kevin actually going to be is always a question. All those guys really coming together raises your ceiling tremendously.
Yeah. Interesting point. I mean, shout out to the chat real quick. All the guys are in here, man. Brandon's here. Keith's in here. Wanners, as always, big shouts. I saw Judge Jim hop in earlier. Kevin. B-Ray, everybody. It's the homies in here, guys. So shout out. Thanks for joining us. Talking, one, Georgie, you're winning without Georgie. Like, that's not like an easy win without Georgie. Now, he hurt his heel early in the second half against Cincinnati. He wasn't really much in cleats, like much at all this week. Played a little bit in cleats, but he'd be on the bike on, in tennis shoes, and he was limping around. He's in pain. It also helps that his wife is due with their first child at any minute. So not only was he hurt enough to not play, he won't be on a plane missing the birth of his first kid. So that's pretty dope. Like, good for him. And to win without him is great.
It's huge.
He should be fine. I don't think it's like a long-term thing, but a soft tissue injury on your heel is brutal. That's like, there's not much you can do besides wait for it to get better. So he should be back in no time.
That's such an easy spot for defenders to mess with.
Kick really hard.
I do that to my buddies all the time. So mess with their heels. It's impossible to see, like off.
Well, you got that dog. I mean, I'm not surprised by that at all.
That's for sure.
I mean, I think the thing you really take away is, no Georgie, okay. No Ronan, who was your best player last year. And you're balling. Like, this was New York was on 5 unbeaten. They had won. Yeah. This is their 6th. If you go back like 2 seasons worth of home games. So just, into 2 years ago, that was their 6th home loss in like 32 home games. 36 home games. Sorry. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And you do that without Georgie, without Ronan, showing that, you have different options tactically and
malleability and like changing that 11 around.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've seen that.
And I love their ability to go to that 4-3-3 in the end, like that being the shutdown formation is awesome.
Oh yeah. Subs came on late. You saw Jasper, who's been hurt. He hasn't been able to really get much in the mix. He played that Utah game and that was, or the RSL game, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. Lamine has gotten another little bit. So yeah, what'd you see from Lamine from
Lamine got a ton, but Jasper really put in a lot of work. He's that perfect defensive midfield. He's getting in possession, in position rather. He's mucking things up, and you could just see how that freed Cole up so much. Once he came in, then Cole was able to really operate and come alive. That's where we talked about his kind of finding his second wind. I thought that was directly connected to Jasper coming in.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. I mean, he had a couple
Well,
moments where I wanted him to run through a tackle and not to a tackle, you know, and he ended up losing. He ended up interrupting the play, but not winning the ball. And I think that could just be a little hesitance. You know, he's not in the flow of playing regular minutes, just getting back on the pitch from an injury. And I think that'll come. That dude has dog in him all over the place. Omir showed it all night. Kevin showed it all night. Somehow, didn't see that one coming.
Kevin had a great game.
Kevin had a good game. Kevin had a good game.
He really played well.
How about Zach Steffen though? I mean, I just saw Dustin here chiming in. He was conducting he was an orchestra conductor back there. I mean, everyone was that back line could not have been more regimented this game.
For sure. Overall, probably the whole team I thought was really well placed. But, you know, I think Zach Steffen probably has a bit more impact for this squad because they actually have the ability to create from the bottom, you know, because their center backs are pretty good with their feet, especially Bombi. Having a goalie who plays into that and is also good with his feet, I think really helps. And then, you know, I mean, tighter pitch, young squad, you worry, are they going to kind of play their tricks with the little tiki-taka style, pass it around us? You know, they know the little tricks with all this. Watching the game, you would have thought it was the opposite. You would have thought the Pids were the squad who plays at Shea and Yankee Stadium all the time and is the one best equipped to really take advantage of that smaller pitch because they handled it beautifully, and it really starts from the back, and then it plays into the 2-8s who
Armas, man. Kudos to his game plan, right? Keep that 20-yard space between your back line and your attackers. Be ready for that switch to the other winger from your right or from your right or left back. Keegan and Sam both were willing to completely switch it up and find those spaces. Just let Ollie be a absolute motor in the middle, and you know you're willing to. And he was throwing bodies forward because you knew that Moise would chase down anything, and he just does it every time. It's like it's almost comical at this point. And you know he hasn't really gone defensive outside of the end of that Dallas game when they finally threw out the 5-3-2 with 3 6s, and you know you just haven't seen that from him. Hey, shout out Wanderers, man. Thanks for coming in. We'll catch you next time, buddy. You know, it's crazy how he's not shutting it down. He's not parking the bus. He's not adding Lawless, adding whoever, right? He's not just playing boring, classic, shut it down, we have a lead ball. He's throwing bodies forward because he knows he has an athletic defense. He has Steffen there in case of emergency. And you know, I think managers come into a position like he has based on the season the team had last year, and they probably just go too conservative and too scared. Like how Frazier was playing this game last year, right? Everything was conservative. Don't mess up. But all they did was mess up. So, you know, whatever. But I mean, it's just kudos to Armas for coming in, and he put on a show. Like they did exactly what he was asking them. And this game was never in doubt. There were some scary moments, but you knew who was going to win.
Yeah, but even then, like not as we were saying earlier, like how many Steffen barely had to make any true saves, you know, in this game. I mean, to do that on the road when you get a clean sheet and your goalie barely has to do anything with his mitts is pretty impressive. And I mean, I think so much like they play so well the defensive backs with the wingers.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's where like Kevin and Keegan just put on a master class and shut down that left side. They couldn't do anything. And I think they were kind of daring NYCFC to push up their defensive backs, and they didn't do that enough. So then the winger would just cut inside and get that responsibility. The defensive back always stayed on the outside, and they barely were tested, you know, and the best they could do, as you were saying, was like crossing it to the other side. Then the other side, they were finding the same thing, and maybe Omir screwed up a clearance, maybe Sammy Vines like missed a header, so the right side wasn't quite as shut down to me. But like they're playing off each other so well, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sometimes Omir and Kevin would switch sides, or Kevin and Calvin switch sides for a minute. Doesn't matter. No matter who the winger is, he's playing so well with his defensive back.
Oh, yeah.
They've got that down pat. And when you're that well prepared defensively on the wing, a lot of good things are going to happen because you're forcing your opponent to play defensively. And so far, they're not finding a lot of teams that are up to the challenge.
And I'm not sure what it is, but Kevin played the right side today, right? He's usually living on that left.
Yep.
Cole was playing more on the right side. He's usually living over on the left.
Yep.
I don't know what called for it. I don't know what they saw in the film room watching, scouting NYCFC that said, let's switch this, right? Either Omir or Kevin's going to play out of position, right? Either, so like, which you're, just not on their preferred side. How do you make that call? And it was a great call. We don't get to see this Keegan Kevin connection, and I like it. I want to see more of that. I want to keep Kevin on that right side.
Yeah.
Those two.
I agree completely. They played so well together. I would stick to that endlessly. And then you're right. Cole factored into that as well. He was
great
off those guys really nicely. Yeah.
It was great. All right. We're going to jump into our last segment. But first, come on. We got to talk about Fubo. Fubo. There isn't a better time in Denver sports than right now.
There really
is.
is.
Playoff. Nuggets playoff. Pids aren't on Fubo, but that's okay. It's a great time.
It's a great time.
Have Rockies on Fubo. Even if it's been a tough start, it's fun.
I was getting Champions League on Fubo because, it's through like Telemundo or something. So having to forgo another app subscription, that's how you can that MLS pass money and then the Fubo money. Bang,
Bang-a-rang, dude.
Perfect sandwich together. Look, they've got so many options. I love it.
They have all the options. They have over 140 plus live channels, not just sports. You got shows, movies, news. I love all three of those things. I love shows, movies, and news. So I'm going to sign up. You can stream live TV from any device. I've watched Fubo on my phone, on my laptop, on the iPad. It works everywhere. You can watch the most Colorado sports for the lowest price. You can start watching immediately with a free trial. Like literally, you can just go over to our link, FuboTV.com/DNVR right now, and you can start watching because you can do the free trial. And I love a free trial. No contract, no cable, no hassle. Just sign up, start watching. You get 1,000 hours of cloud DVR and no extra charge. And you can watch local teams while traveling. Like I said, Rockies. The Rockies are on TV. Do you know how hard it is to find the Rockies on TV? But you can do it because of Fubo. You also have NFL offseason with the NFL
right
Network.
Now,
No, go ahead.
No, right now I was seeing on FS1 Seattle against the Galaxy on Fubo.
Yeah, look at that. And our guy B-Ray says if you pay $35 for the Latino package, you get all like Liga MX and some other good footy, which is worth it right there for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So make sure you go to www.FuboTV.com/DNVR. That is FuboTV.com/DNVR. Sign up 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. Bang-a-rang. Okay. Our how we always end this show, Dre.
Yes.
We love to give our flowers. We are going to give
flower time.
Flowers from the fellas.
Yaya looks like that doesn't even look photoshopped,
That's real. That's actually a picture of Yaya. Me and Dwayne are photoshopped in.
Dwayne though with the vest, I could see him pulling that off, Oh man, what a great picture.
We're classy broads, I don't know what to say.
Classy fellas.
As our guest, Dre, let's go ahead and give you first flowers to hand out for the game.
First flowers to hand out.
Yeah.
Big old bouquet for my guy, Moise Bombito.
Let's go.
Bombi forever. Start the. I don't know. I need to join C38 and start the Moise fan club. Because it was just amazing all over the place. He settled the team down when it got tough. When NYCFC was more on the attacking foot, he could always be trusted, came through with huge plays, was great in possession and creating counterattacks. Phenom, man. Phenom.
Too many Moise jokes. I don't like
Phenom.
Moise is a gross word. I don't want it. We got to find something better. It's low hanging fruit, guys. We can do better.
But it's good hearty fun.
You're right. No, he was great. He was great.
I'd take him on AC Milan like right now. I
well,
really
yeah, with
think
Chow
he's
leaving,
one
for
of
sure
the
you would.
better young defenders in the world.
No, I mean, besides Malik Chow, who's probably going to Barca, Real, somewhere. That's the rumor. PSG, somewhere.
We shall see.
Let's get Moise over there. They love the Americans in Milan. They love them. Oh, I guess he's not American. He's Canadian. But they love the MLS guys.
Yeah. That'd be a classy town. Moise would be shacking up with models before you know it. So that'd be a great move. Do you give flowers now? Is it?
Now I give flowers.
Okay.
There's some very obvious candidates, but I have to give it to my guy Chris Armas, my bald king.
Wow.
I have to.
Call. Great call. But do you knock him a little bit for humiliating a fellow bald? Because he was so much better than his counterpart on the other bench, who was similarly follically impaired that you could almost see that as bald on bald crime.
Follically impaired is makes me feel better about being bald. No, look, he was so confident when we talked to him after practice on his way out. He was he knows that this team is buying into what he's selling. And that's tough when you look at this outfield, right? And it's just Sam and Omir today, right, are the only guys that weren't around, right? Like everyone else was a part of the terribleness, right? Like to be able to just, but Ollie was in the ecosystem. He was always practicing with the first team, and he was on the bench. And the fact that these guys are able to turn a culture around without full roster turnover, right, is just wild. Chris is, if he's not the front runner right now for coach of the year, the board's voters need to stay up later and watch some West Coast games.
100%. Yeah,
simple
hopefully
as.
a 2 p.m. kickoff helps on that end. No, great point. And I mean, how about like coming back to New York, where you ask MLS fans from that hub, they'll tell you that Chris Armas is a bum, doesn't know what he's doing, ruined a good team, blah blah blah. Well, he just came into Shea Stadium and like put everyone in their place nice and quick. So
great stuff.
That's a great one. Absolutely.
All right, go ahead. You get more flowers to give.
I'm gonna give it to Kevin Cabraal.
I love it.
A man who deserves his flowers. A man who really, that right flank is where the majority of the danger came for the Pids this entire game. He plays a full 90. He gets the hockey assist on the first goal. Or no, he doesn't play the full 90, right? He gets taken out.
But late.
At the very late. He plays 85 plus.
Yeah.
We just talked about the great defense. And I mean, is inches away from banging in a one-timer that would really change the narrative on Kevin's ability to bang them in, and then would have had an assist on a very dubious offside, if you ask me, which would also change the perception of kind of his final third numbers, right?
He wasn't on. Cabral was on. Justice for Kevin.
Yeah, justice for Kevin indeed.
No, you're right. This guy, man, I just want to see him score. Like, because my biggest problem was never that he wasn't scoring. My biggest problem was that he was being a lazy bum. Like, he wasn't running, he wasn't committing back on defense. He would literally fall down to try and draw a free kick or a red card on breakaways instead of trying to put shots on goal. And credit to Armas, man. He's got him working his ass off, and that's something I didn't think any coach could do, and he did it. So the goals will come. The goals will come. He is great with the ball at his feet. He's faster than everyone besides Moise on the field. So I'm in. So there we go. Okay. I got to give flowers to Goal Bassett. I mean,
got to.
He's just as clutch as it gets, right? That's his I mean, he had the winner in Salt Lake in the 88th minute, 87th minute. He had this late goal here on a similar play, right? A similar late arriver behind that attack.
Mm-hmm.
This is just what he does. He just shows up when it matters and bangs one home, leaves no doubt. He is on fire. And some of these guys are talking about, I mean, you heard the guys on the MLS broadcast put him in, some of the best players in the league this season. And it's not wrong. That's what's crazy.
He's playing that way. He's playing that way. He's elevated this game. And if there's a leader or a greater overarching symbol of the maturity that these young kids have and coming on the road and pulling off a win like this, it's Cole leading the charge, man.
Hey, downtown Dwayne Brown, do you got any flowers you want to give? We'll see if he chimes in. I might have caught him off guard.
Yeah.
All right. It was worth a shot.
He didn't have a chance.
There he is.
Oh,
let's go.
I mean, man, you guys are giving flowers to my guys here already.
Kind of crazy.
That's right.
Armas and Cabraal. It's a weird thing to hear, but man, I mean, the flowers have been given, but it's got to be Chris Armas.
I know. It does. He's kind of the big picture takeaway here.
What did we complain about last week? It was maybe Chris should have changed up the strategy a little bit, but he ran it the same way, and we struggled because of it. So what's he do today? He changes the strategy and comes away with 3 points on the road in New York, home of the Mets.
The Mason Mets, baby.
So it's, man, I cannot give enough flowers to Chris Armas. Mm-hmm. I am the captain of the Armas Armada through and through. I am on board with this guy. The last thing I'll say is that the thing that was great to see about Armas today is because he's such a nice dude is I caught like the last 8 minutes of the match. And there was a throw in, and I don't know who the player was for New York City, but he didn't give the ball, and like Armas got in his face about it. Oh man, it was just awesome.
Fire me up. Let's go.
It was, dude. It was. So it's all Armas for me. I'm so happy for that guy. I just really am. I'm just so happy for him. After all the beatings he took from not just from Rapids fans and Rapids Twitter, but nationally, just the news, everybody was panning the Rapids hire of Chris Armas, and man, he's shut him up. He has shut the haters up.
Tom Bogert quote tweeted his like Rapids are cooking take and was like, all of you were out and I was right, and we stan you, Tommy Scoops. You were on board from the start, and we love it.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dwayne. We'll wrap it up here in just a sec. Any other flowers we left off there?
No, but I would add.
Rafa for sure.
Rafa definitely deserves it. That's a worldie. And I thought he had a really good game. 90 minutes. We went over it with the
for sure.
Praise, for sure. I will add, you said big picture, that's the biggest takeaway is Armas. And I completely agree. And I would add with the caveat of, I think there's the other part of the big picture takeaways is that Moise Bombito and Cole Bassett are like legit top dudes in the MLS right now. And that with Georgie changes the outlook of this team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have two of the best players in the league. Two guys who are definitely going to make a push for best 11 come the end of the season. Like you might see them on there.
Two of the best young guys too, which is a nice little.
I mean, which what you hope turns into some money.
Correct. Yeah.
Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe they just lock down a great team for a couple of years. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. Right. Lots to talk about there. Big picture. Andre, anything you want to plug? You joined us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
No, but tune into DNVR and subscribe and check out ddnvr.com. See all the great written content we have. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Oh yeah,
leave us nice reviews on Apple Podcast.
5 stars only.
And just support the brand, because it's all just guys who love ball and specifically Denver sports like us, and put their heart and soul into it every week, every day, every weekend, so that we can do this and not ignore your teams, but actually enjoy them all together. Yeah.
Celebrate.
That would mean the world if in any way that you support our stuff. That's what I would love from you.
Love that. We're gonna get more Dre on PIDs.
Please.
Have to.
Please.
Obviously, shout out to the chat. Thanks for coming in.
Big time.
Big shouts to our guys. Keith, I'm surprised you're not writing a great story about this. You're in here hanging with us. I love it. Shmeeman showed up. Dustin, Kevin, B-Ray, all the guys are here tonight, man. Shout out to you guys. We got some events coming up. If you are a Rockies fan, we have a sweet takeover we're doing, which includes a party bus from the bar to a suite at Coors Field and back. Can't really beat that. Super fun. You can hang out with the DNVR crew there. We have Rapids takeovers coming up. We have watch parties for all the Avs and Nuggets playoff games. Those are crazy. That's what I do. I am chief vibesman in the party, making sure everyone has a good time, handing out raffle tickets, handing out high fives left and right. Starting, mic chants, all sorts. That's what I do. This is what I do. So make sure you come out, become a subscriber at thednvr.com. If you're diehard, get a free shirt and a discount at the bar. So that, literally, you just paid for it before you even opened the website and got all the cool shit we give you behind the paywall. So
that's right.
Make sure you do that. More important than every single one of those things, the most important, and the way we end every single show. Up the PIDs.
We all silly like the mayor.